Yo, what's up, guys? I was just finishing up this track that is actually the first track of the EP that's coming out very, very soon. And I figured I'd kind of go over how I set up these sort of live rock tracks, as far as like stereo imaging and like stuff like that. So, yeah, let's just get right into it. So the main focus point of these tracks are guitar. So in a basic sense, I use a form of double tracking, and double tracking is when you record the same guitar part, like the same chords, the same lead line, whatever, twice, and then you put one hard right and you put one hard left. So I do a version of that, but as you can see, I have like 8 different guitar channels, so I can't really put like half of them in one ear and half of them in the other. That just would sound awful. So what I do is I break everything up into different like types of instrument. So I've got like rhythm guitars, I've got these pluck guitars, I've got the acoustic guitars, and I've got the lead. And then don't worry about this. This is just what I used to record in everything. So don't even worry about that. But first I've got these rhythm guitars, and so this is the entire mix, like everything going together except for the lead, because I don't have any place where everything is actually going at the same time. But this is sort of an idea. So it's kind of like a John Mayer without a vocal sort of vibe. But so for my guitars, I've got these rhythm parts that sound like this. And instead of panning them hard right and left like the traditional way is, I pan them 40 out of 50 in either direction. So if I solo just the right guitar, you still have a little bit of left guitar, or a little bit of that guitar coming out of the left ear, and the same goes for the left. So that sort of like crossover helps fill out the mix way more, and it doesn't leave the middle as empty. And I do a version of that for all of the guitars. So I've got this pluck guitar right here, and those two are harmonies of each other, so it's not the same part like the other one was. But I've got those sorry, I thought somebody was like coming into my house. So I've got those 25 to the right and the left. So if I solo just the right one, it's still giving a lot of signal to the left channel, and the same way for the left version of the same part. And that just again helps fill out the mix, because I've got the edges of the spectrum covered with the 40 over there, and then I've got the closer to the middle but still separated, being filled out with these parts. I've got the bass guitar, and if you're like, just keep your bass mono or centered. There's not really a reason to not have your bass just be mono. I mean centered. Yeah, there's just not really a reason for that, in my opinion. I'm sure somebody has done a great job doing otherwise. But next I've got the acoustic guitars, and they're so far back in the mix you probably didn't even hear them, but they're just there to kind of fill out the spectrum a little bit more. And I've got them panned 30 either way. You can barely hear they're there, but you can hear they're there enough for it to matter. Then I've got this lead part. And it gets recorded in mono because I'm plugging straight from my pedal board into my interface, and I'm only recording in mono. So how to get that stereo is in this lead channel. I've got a simple delay, and if you listen, the delay bounces it back and forth between your ears, so it gives it, even though it's a mono signal, it's giving it a stereo feel. And that's fantastic because I've still got 75%, or rather, sorry, 25% of it is affected. So I've still got 75% of the original signal going through, so it's still very, very mono, but it's still got a little bit of stereo. So it's filling out both the middle and the sides. Yeah, so that's one of the only things, that and the bass are one of the only things in the middle. I've got Superior Drummer, which is kind of full spectrum depending on what's being played. The kick and the snare are pretty centered, and the left and then it just depends what cymbals are being played for the rest of that. I've got these instruments, and the Rhodes has like a tremolo on it, so it goes back and forth. Not a tremolo, what's it called? Oh man, I forgot, because tremolo is a volume thing. This is going back and forth, like it has an auto pan on it just a little bit, and that's obviously doing a great job filling everything out. And I've got the Vibe, which is centered and mono, apart from the reverb I have on it. And then I've got some miscellaneous percussion and effects down here. So yeah, and then on top of all of that, I have every group and every channel running to a reverb channel. Which just gives it a sense of space and a sense of like ambience. And also, just like everything else I've said today, does a great job filling out every bit of the stereo image. And yeah. So yeah, that's kind of how I set everything up, the stereo image in this sort of style in a basic sense. If you've got any questions about any of it, let me know. I'd be more than happy to answer whatever questions you have. Like, comment, subscribe, do all that. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.